When you walk into the room, she don't talk with a train and a silver spoon. She goes, whoa.
Most British distance runners, when they grow up, they're dreaming of running 1 mile. They're not dreaming of running 26.2 miles. How long has the marathon been a goal for you?
To be honest, pretty much since I've been running. I used to watch the London Marathon with my dad on a Sunday, or probably both my parents, and I remember as a teenager then watching it with my dad, and that was always a massive draw to me. The longer runs have always been something I'm a lot better at, or just something I'm more inclined to, something I enjoy more. Anytime I'm injured, people, they kind of think, oh, I hate being injured, I really want to get back and race. I always miss that long run. I always miss just being out for 2 hours, that sort of thing. So I'm probably the anomaly in British running.
So something that's always come quite natural to you, running
Yeah.
fast for a long period of time.
To be honest, I know it's 2012, the big year and everything, but if I'd had my way, I probably would have debuted last year. I was just injured. Even the year before, I've wanted to do it since it seemed sensible to do it. Which, looking at marathon running nowadays could have been from when I was like 20, really. But yeah, I'm glad I'm finally getting around to doing it, and hope this isn't just 2012, so I'm going to have a crack at the marathon. This is the start of many marathons, hopefully for as long as I can hack it.
Good stuff. So you must be a fair way into your build-up now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess since running the half at the end of January, there was 2 phases to training. I was preparing, putting my mileage up slightly, getting used to mileage over Christmas, without any specificity towards the marathon, but with the half marathon in mind. We wanted to start this block of training coming off a really good half marathon in that sort of shape, because you're obviously going to slow your training down a little bit while you bulk it up a bit. So I kind of sampled a bit of the longer stuff in the build up to the half marathon, and then took an easy week after the half, and then really my coach Tony Houchin in America, in Alabama, he set me a 12-week program that started pretty much a week after that.
So how are you finding it, the change from the kind of the half marathon phase and on into the longer phase, and I suppose you're doing kind of harder, longer stuff now?
Yeah, the volume's obviously gone up, and I'm finding it's going well. I haven't had any real problems. I'm just finding it pretty relentless now. I'm used to kind of 90 miles a week where you can do a couple of one a days in a week. Now it's like every day, run, work, run, home, bed, just over and over again. You kind of start to look for, right, when's a break in this coming, but it's coming. This is what you do for the marathon. It's 10-12 weeks of that kind of lifestyle. So you just kind of.
So do you have many rest days in the midst of all that, or not really?
No, not really. I haven't had a rest day in, I think it's about 17 weeks now. So I tend not to. I actually have found in the last few years when I stop running, I tend to get more problems from taking days off here or there. I have easy days. I've had an easy day. This Saturday was pretty easy day for me, but I tend to not actually physically take a day off.
Okay. And you've been in obviously you've been in Loughborough for quite a few years, and the group's really grown in the last couple of last 12 months really. So I know you've got John Beattie and Luke Cragg are both aiming for London as well. Obviously you've got Matt O'Dowd around, who's a 2:12 guy. How much does it help having those kind of guys around, and will you be doing much kind of running with those guys?
I'd like to do some sessions where we can. I've done a couple with Cragg in the build-up. We both had a half marathon about a week apart from each other. Did a couple of sessions there, and I thought we worked together well. The thing is, I obviously have my training, which I'm confident with. I'm happy with. It works for me. Sent to me by coach in America, and it's tailored to me. So whether that'll fit in with the guys, I don't know. Haven't done much with them. I know they've been training together in the last few weeks, and I haven't linked in yet. But to be honest, I've got a good group of runners who I run with anyway. So on Tuesdays, I know I really like the guys I run with, and tempos as well on Friday. And the rest of the time, I'm pretty happy running alone when I have to. It's never really been a problem for me. So it'd be great if it works out, basically. And it is good to have guys that sound off against and with the same sort of ideas. But you know, it just, if it works, it works.
And like you say, a lot of the guys who you're coaching, I suppose, a lot of them that you're running with, they are doing more specific 5k work and 10k work. How different is that from what you're doing? I mean, how big is the jump?
It's not massively different. So like I said, it's only really in the last few weeks, in this last kind of phase towards a marathon, where it'll vary. You know, I like to train kind of over distance for the under distance events anyway. So a lot of the guys who would be going for 5-10k would throw in a bit of half marathon work and 10k work specifically. So it still works pretty well. I mean, the guys that I run with, you know, we're really distance based and aerobic work and that sort of thing. So you know, typical example being Tuesday, I had to do an extra rep, but we still got to run together for the majority of the session.
Right.
I've just upped the volume a bit on mine, but it works great because you know, I'm not trying to go out and hammer anything now, so I can use the guys to help me. They get a bit of turnover, and I can just use them.
And obviously Loughborough's a great place for that, because there's so many.
Yeah, I mean, that's another great thing about Loughborough. I say, about whether I train with Crag or BT or not, everyone runs together all the time. There's always someone to run with on your easy days, and you're going twice a day, every day. You're always going to have people to run with. Great milers, great 800 guys, great 5k, 10k, and now hopefully a good group of marathon runners. So, you know, you're sport for choice, really.
Absolutely. Now, this is your marathon debut, official marathon debut.
Officially. Actually, unofficially, I guess.
Yeah.
It is what I consider my debut. Although, if you look at Para 10, I do have a time.
Yeah, obviously you paced Ava to the A standard for the Olympics, for the Irish team. So in a way, you've been around the marathon in a training sense for the past 6 to 10 months, I suppose. How much has that helped you, and what can you learn from what she went through?
I think I've learned a lot, to be honest, and there's been ups and downs as well with her training, and she linked up with the coach Ray Tracy in America, and I've learned a lot from him. You know, I kind of picked up a lot of what she did that might have been different to what I was initially thinking going into my marathon, which is really interesting. And watching the way she went through it and actually being in the second marathon with her was a massive eye-opener, really. One of the things I found running in Houston was how much you have to concentrate, and it's quite daunting. I don't know really what London, I haven't really investigated London's course, but Houston was long straights. I think there was one point which I don't think we turned a corner for about 4 miles, and I just, you know, just trying to stay on pace and keep going straight line 4 miles. I thought, you know, this is something, if I was running flat out, well, not flat out, but flat out for the marathon, something you'd really have to, you know, come to terms with in your head and focus.
So there is a difference in the mental approach to the marathon then?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I'm one of these guys that tries not to overthink everything. You know, haven't started planning drinks or anything like that. I'm not really sure what route I'm going to go down. But I know that, you know, there's so many different ways you can train for a marathon. There's so many different opinions. But I think mentally, I think everyone would agree that you're going to have to stand there and be ready for anything to happen in the 26 miles. But also to be able to concentrate and to be able to know bad patches aren't necessarily the end of your race. You know, like, you know, you can come back quicker, which incidentally happened in Houston, and for about 5 or 6 miles, Ava had really, really bad pains in her calf. She got a cramp, and the mental determination to stay on pace and keep going. Whereas I felt like she wasn't tired, but having to deal with this constant spasm in her leg.
Must have been tough. Yeah.
Really tough. So to see that and see how she did get through it, she did get the time, and it was a success. It makes me think. I now think what I'll be thinking if anything like that happens in my race.
So in a way, you are preparing for any eventuality.
Yeah, I think you have to. Another good example. I felt like when we started the race, I didn't think the pace was going to be difficult for Ava, but I knew that it wasn't over until you crossed the line, because absolutely, yeah. And she ran Dublin and pulled her calf and stopped something like 10 times in the race. You know, I just know these things are going to happen. So yeah, hopefully I'm prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have any, I suppose fears is the wrong word, but any sort of, is there anything you're particularly nervous about going into the marathon rather than?
I think I'd be particularly I'm particularly focused on how the first kind of 5-6 miles goes. If I feel good there, regardless of what pace I'm at, if I feel good, if everything seems to be working, I think I'll be a lot more relaxed. I'm more confident in my ability to persevere and to my endurance to get through the race. My biggest fear is just, you know, when you start a race sometimes and you think, well, this is going to be a bad day, whatever happens. If you're feeling like that in the first 6 miles, I think
In a 5k, it's over.
5k,
in 14
well,
minutes.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, if you're getting that feeling 6 miles in a marathon, I'd probably be a little more concerned that that'll happen.
That's it. London. Is there any specific reasons why you chose there over anywhere else?
I think. Well, obviously, I've always wanted to do London. I think most British athletes want to run in front of the British crowd, and we watch it every year. It's the biggest, one of the biggest athletics things that happens on TV each year. I knew that this year was going to be a good year to do it. When, like I say, I would have liked to have done it last year, but leading into this, one of my friends, who my coach Tony coaches in America, he's doing Rotterdam, and he's been trying to persuade me to do that.
Right.
And I was really tempted. There's a good group of guys from Ireland going over. I thought you could maybe avoid a bit of the hustle and bustle and hype over here. But then I thought, I want to race my peers. I want to race in the British Champs and try and, that could be one of the targets, to beat as many Brits as you can. And it is a good year. Everybody's going to do it. It's going to be different targets, different outcomes. But this year definitely I want to do London.
And you'll have a friend there pacing you, hopefully.
Yeah. I used to live with Scott in America. So that's been a big, positive and inspiration to see how well he's done at it, especially on his first go. I think his coach and my coach are quite similar as well. I've seen his training, and it's very similar to the sort of stuff I get from Tony. So that gives me a bit more confidence as well.
And are there any, obviously London's your immediate goal, but do you have long-term aspirations in the marathon now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is where I could, hopefully go on and get a British best, something that I always wanted to achieve. I want to run for Wales in the Commonwealth Games in the marathon. I think that's definitely an achievable target. To be honest, I want to, maybe be running a marathon or two a year and just see where I can get, see how much more I can get out of the volume in training, see how much more I can get out of myself. I've always felt this could be my distance, always hoped it's going to be my distance, and if it does become that, then I hopefully my aspirations will go along. I'll get higher as I go through it.
Fantastic. Well, we'll be checking up on you in the next in the months leading up to London. So hopefully it'll all go swimmingly for you, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Oh,
Thanks a lot.
thank you.
She's a queen, she's good to me.
Did you stop recording and still filming?
So keep going.
Are you just going to keep going?
We can edit it out.
Cut it out.
Can you cut it out? Because
What do you think?
I'm ruining it now.
Pause it for a minute.
Sorry, I've absolutely ruined
No,
it.
it's alright.